What was the process from getting the assignment to turning in the paper? What steps did you take?
That first day I spent a few hours thinking about the topic itself before the rough draft was due. For me, a bigger, greater hurdle of writing is pretty much picking a good subject, having a good story to tell. Otherwise, it's not really worthwhile to me. So that may be overly critical for working in a foreign language, but that's just a good place to start and a good place to be comfortable at.
Okay.
Just knowing what you're going to talk about.
So you thought about the subject for a few hours, and then what happened?
Well, then I sat down for a few hours and got to typing. Picked a good title for my essay and worked with that. And I started with expressions that were familiar to me, like "cuando ir a la biblioteca" or "cuando voy a la biblioteca." Just words that are familiar, you use those, and you work with what you know already. Afterward, when you're proofreading, or I don't wait until the end of the essay to proofread, especially in a foreign language. It's better to start at the beginning and work in small chunks. Actually, the best case would be to work with words that you already know and then form clauses and then look over those clauses, then sentences, look over those sentences.
And do you feel that's what you did
Constantly.
in this essay?
Yeah, constantly review what you're doing and work on putting it together so that it's correct. That was pretty much the process that I took, and I went through with that, and I stuck with it until I completed the assignment.
And about how many hours did you spend writing that rough draft?
About 3 or 4, actually. Keep in mind it was just 300 or 400 words, so it's actually 6 or so times greater than what you do in your normal language, which is to be expected. It's going to take a longer time. You have to take your time and have a good pace and take breaks. It's really important.
All right. So after you completed the rough draft, after 3 or 4 hours, what happened next?
Well, I read it through about 2 or 3 more times to make sure that everything made sense according to what I had an idea of what made sense was, not necessarily what the instructor thought.
And then?
But just have confidence that it's going to be right once you go through it that number of times, turn it in. It was a first draft, so I could be fairly comfortable that it wasn't going to be too harsh.
So after you turned in the rough draft, what happened?
Well, we got it graded within about 3 or 4 days. Didn't take very long, and when I got it back, I was surprised by not every line having an error in it. So it was better than my expectations was. Just put in the work at first and work systematically, diligently.
Did you do revisions then?
Oh yeah,
so
I didn't.
Tell me through to the end, the final product.
Well, contrary to my normal procrastinatory nature, I was sort of enthused to work immediately with the essay right when I got it back. I read through it in class, and once I got home, once I was leaving class, I was working with it as I was walking to the bus, just coming up with alternative forms for what he was trying to say. He would give codes inside of the essay. He would circle some words and say that the verb tense was incorrect or the word order was incorrect, and I would try and figure that through myself. And then later I would use the book as a reference for solving those errors. So that was key. Just be enthusiastic about it. Don't doubt yourself, and get the job done.
Okay, so you got it back. How long did it take you to make the corrections?
I'd say within a couple of hours. The hour that it took me to travel home, and then the hour afterward, I just worked with that. And it was mostly done probably before then. So
and then
not very long.
You turned it in?
Well, I corrected it. I corrected it in type. You can hand it in with the handwriting. I printed out a new copy, and I held onto it for like a week, and that's when I turned it in.
And so how did it come out?
Good. I got an A on it, so
right.
I'm excited about that. There were, I think, 2 errors when I was done with it out of a page and a half. So yeah, just work through with it. Your professor will give you guidance if you ask him. If you're only doing one draft of the composition, make sure you go in and get some language help, some writing help from someone if you need.